Is it working? I think so. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Teenagers Talk podcast. Today I might look a bit very casual for what topic we are going to discuss. Also, I might be coughing half of this episode because I'm sick. I haven't been able to film in like 2 or 3 weeks because I've been extra busy. But yeah, I have to film something, even though I have another episode that's waiting to be posted, but I'm just too lazy to edit it because I have to work a lot with it and I'm dreading it. And yeah, so today it's going to be a shorter episode. I mean, I'm trying to make every episode shorter, but it seems like I can't. I have a lot to yap in every episode. I'm starting out with the idea that I'm going to speak for 20 minutes max, and that's it. And that's how I end up with a video that's at least 40-50 minutes long. But that's a me problem, and we need to get to today's topic. So I wanted to talk about healing, and especially the truth about healing, because everybody tries to give you advice. Do this and you'll be able to heal, and all of these tricks and psychological stuff, or advice to go to a therapist, to try to seek professional help, different stuff, methods. But the truth is, if you cannot get out of the environment that's destroying your mental health, you cannot heal. And I'm not talking about an environment out of which you don't want to live. It's not like I'm not talking about a situation in which you are in a relationship and you just can't bring yourself to leave, even though you know that's the main thing that's hurting you. I'm talking about situations in which you can't actually leave. There are, I don't know, teenagers or people who are stuck living with their family. Maybe their family is the main cause of some problems, or maybe they are in other environments that they cannot live out of, either because they have financial reasons holding them back, or the legal reasons. Because if you're an underage child living with your parents, your family, that's kind of a problem. You cannot leave. It's very hard to get out of the house, and there are these situations out of which you cannot escape no matter how hard you try. And people will give you advice on the internet. You'll open up TikTok or Instagram and you'll see all this advice, and you may try it, but you'll see that it might not work, especially if there's something that keeps on burning, adding to it's like a fire. You're trying to stop it. You're trying to make it smaller until it disappears, and it's like you're trying to stop the fire, and your problems just keep on putting more wood and trying to keep the fire alive, and they're making it even bigger. And if you're living with people, or if you have people in your life that are making you feel bad in bad ways, any type of bad way, it's like you're trying so hard to stop that fire, and then you realize that you cannot stop it, and you cannot even make it smaller. It's just going to grow because people keep on adding wood, so it burns more, it extends, and it's like trying to go against a whole group of people. You cannot as I've said, I'm going to be coughing up. Is there even this is there even an expression for coughing up? Isn't okay, coughing. Anyways, back to the topic. I think that if you can't escape the environment that's keeping all that fire going, that's keeping that fire going in your mind, you can't fully heal. And I'm sorry for stating the facts. I know people are going to say, oh, well, you can heal. You can just stop caring, or you can do whatever. You can start feeling a bit more careless regarding what those people are saying, or you can survive it, but you cannot fully heal. That's the whole point. You cannot fully heal if you're still in that environment, because whenever what keeps on destroying your mental health, whenever that thing comes again, it repeats itself, you're going to realize that you will get to a breaking point again. It doesn't matter that you have been trying to do all these healing things, or that you've seen a professional, that you talk to, I don't know, friends, family, you talk to a lot of people and try to get over it and heal that part of yourself. It's really hard to get to a point where it doesn't actually get you to a breaking point. Even if you try so hard to get over it, you'll realize that every time when those things affect you again, everything will come rushing back. You'll start feeling everything that you feel when you're hurt by these people that you are stuck with. And I'm not only talking about family, I'm talking about a lot of situations in which you cannot leave. I just gave family or people that are legally taking care of you. You cannot really escape out of those type of situations, especially until you are of age. And even then, if you don't have the financial state to move out of the house, it's kind of useless, pointless to be 18 if you don't have the resources to live alone or someplace else. And even if you try, you'll realize that you're trying, you see everybody having this perfect life on the internet, and you feel like, why can't I reach that state? Why can't I get all of these good things? And I just feel like I'm lost. I'm stuck in this bad place, and everybody seems to be able to solve everything with those methods that appear on the internet. Try this and you'll heal your inner child, or try this and you will completely heal, and all of that. Or you'll get on your path to healing. And because, okay, maybe they don't really put it like that, but there are a lot of tips and tricks on the tips and tricks. Well, there's a lot of advice regarding how to get to start healing, and maybe you can start, but you won't get to a very far point. And I know this sounds very discouraging, but you won't get to a specific point if you, I don't know, if you don't get out of the place that's making you feel that way, or if you don't cut those people that are making you feel that way out of your life completely, or if you cannot, because the point of this video is not how to escape situations out of which you don't feel like you want to escape, you know. I'm not talking about situations in which you can do something about it and just leave that respective person. I'm talking about situations in which you can't do anything about it because you don't have the resources to escape those environments. And that's why I brought family matters into the discussion, because I think that it's the hardest for young people who are stuck in these type of situations. And there's a lot of scenarios for other ages too, but there are, for example, relationships or friendships that you can just end and you cut those people out of your life. And now I'm not saying that people who don't cut those who affect them out of their life, that they are not trying to heal of that. It's a psychological thing. Of course you don't want to give up on people who you consider friends or who hold some emotional value to you, even if that emotional value is sort of fake and it's completely destroying you. And I'm not trying to say that to discourage the people who are in situations they are stuck in and they cannot do anything about it. I'm not trying to make them feel bad, but I'm not trying to discourage anybody and be like, if you're stuck in a specific environment you cannot heal. I'm not saying that. You maybe can get closer to solving some problems, but you'll find it that it's really hard, and that whenever you get you are triggered by something, especially if it's something that those people do, you'll realize that it's all going to come rushing back, and everything that you feel when you're affected by those triggering things, you're going to feel it again, and you'll realize, yeah, maybe I didn't actually get over it. I was just hiding them down under every thought that I have, under everything, and you were just hiding it. It was just buried deep down to the back of your mind, and you forgot about it. I think I'm going to turn the light on. Okay, much better, because it's getting dark outside. Of course I procrastinated starting to film this video, but yeah. And again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I think that if you, and I'm not saying that trying to heal is pointless. I'm just saying that you should try to do what's best for you, especially in the present moment. Not thinking about a far future after, I don't know, you've gotten out of that situation and you want to be healed by then. No, you should take everything slowly and understand that in some cases it's really hard to control what's happening. And of course, in situations that you can control, as I've said, in those you need help too. You need somebody to help you from the outside escape those people, to get those people out of your life and escape those situations, you know. And I'm not saying that those are invalid. I'm just saying that maybe it's a bit more, and it's, for those cases we have a lot of advice on the internet, but I feel like a lot of people forget to talk about those who can't get out of these situations. I heard of a lot of cases in which people try to get over what's happened to them, but they are still stuck with the problem in the same environment. And you might be able to feel better, but there's still going to be something there. I don't know if you get it. It's really hard to, I feel like it's really hard to explain right now. Okay. And can you please stop? I have to record. I'm trying to keep myself from laughing, because if I start laughing, I'm gonna start coughing again. Okay, yeah. And we forget about those people who are stuck in those situations, and we've got to do something to help them too. Because you can't do anything for example, as a teenager, as I gave this example, I think this is the most valid thing. If you are a teenager or child, I mean, as a child you may not realize what's happening if you live in a bad environment, but as a teenager especially you do. And back to what I was, as a teenager you will realize these things, and you will try And especially when you are on social media, you're going to compare your lives to others. Yeah, okay, so we had a bit of a problem because my phone decided to stop recording. And looking back on the video, fuck. I was just trying to say that, looking back on the video, my coughing is really loud, so you'll have to excuse me, guys, for this. I'm really sorry. So back where I was, you're going to start comparing your life to what you see on social media inevitably, even though you know it's not that it's fake, but people a lot of times tend to show only the bright parts of life, and you'll realize that, well, your life is not as nice, as beautiful as other people's on social media or on the internet. And you will also feel like everything that you do isn't getting you back on track, where isn't going to get you to be like other people, or that some things that may work for other people who may have a much better context than yours, healing methods and all of that, that it works for them. And well, it's not that true. People oftentimes show only good parts, and especially on social media, and you'll feel like you're doing something wrong, and in reality you're not doing anything wrong. You're just trying to survive. And there's a saying, don't be mad at your past self, because that past version of yourself survived with what they had, with the information they had until that point. And it's not only about, it was the best way you knew how to deal with all the problems that you had back then. And also right now you're also just dealing the way you can with everything that's been going on. And you shouldn't be mad at yourself for not being able to do stuff. And also another thing I want to talk about, because I've seen that I do this a lot of times, if you're not able to do this on your own, again, don't be mad at yourself. If you don't really have a lot of people to help you, or if you don't really have professional help that can help you, don't be mad at yourself for not being able to do all of these things alone, for not being able to carry it alone, and also be perfect at it. Nobody can do things on their own. And all of these people that you see on social media, and they're talking about how they've healed their generational trauma or different things about themselves, they a lot of times do it with professional help. And I'm not saying that you surely cannot do it without professional help. I'm just saying that you cannot compare your life, your context, to somebody else's life. Somebody else may live a different life from yours. They may have other resources, other contexts, other life experiences. And even if you were to compare your life to that other person's life, and you'll realize that you have the same type of traumas and the same type of things, even if you will feel like, oh, but they went through everything that I went through, and they are doing way better. Even if maybe you are two different people dealing in two different ways, it doesn't mean that you are less strong or less, I don't know, just because you didn't deal with some stuff in the same way somebody else did. And believe me, it's just, you have to stop comparing yourself to other people who have lived another life. And honestly, on this one, I do recommend listening to some of Maddie Webb's videos. She talks about this, and I really love the comparison about the things that she says about comparing yourself to other people, because two different people living two different lives. And even if those lives are not completely different, it's still different contexts, different people. If you're living the same type of life as somebody else, and you cannot heal the same way they do. Either there's a difference of context, and even if there wasn't, you're two different people dealing in two different ways, and that's the beauty of being human. We are all different, we all do different stuff, and also you're learning your own lessons, own life lessons that you are meant to learn. Maybe then when you give advice to somebody else, everybody will have different advice to give because they have different life experiences. So yeah, I do think that healing is not going to be 100% done, especially, I mean, I don't think that you can fully sorry again, sorry, I don't think that you can fully heal after. It depends on the type of trauma that you have, and I know maybe I'm not being very sensitive right now about what I'm saying, but it does depend on the type of trauma that you have. But also, it's very hard to fully heal, especially if you do it alone or with minimal help. And also, if you're still in the context that's hurting you, or in another context that's hurting you, and you cannot escape it, we need to speak up for those people. There are people who cannot do anything to save themselves mentally, emotionally from a situation. So of course somebody like that won't be able to apply every advice that they see on social media about healing. Oh, do this and you'll be able to heal. Do that and you will feel better about yourself. And that's something about confidence too, you know. If you get all these confidence tips on the internet, do this and you'll feel more confident and all of that, but there's somebody who is constantly body shaming you or bringing up those insecurities constantly, you won't be able to be more insecure. You will feel like, even if you try, and I know I've talked about confidence before, I've talked about ways to be more confident, but you cannot blame somebody who is in a context where they are constantly bullied for their insecurities. You cannot expect somebody who is still in a context that's constantly reminding them of their insecurities. You cannot fully expect that I mean, of course, I'm not saying that people are not strong, and maybe that person is strong, but you cannot fully expect them to just be able to get over it. They're human, and of course, if something constantly keeps on reminding you of your problems, or even amplifying those problems, you won't be able to get over it as easily, if at all. And as long as the problem is still in your life, it's really hard to get over it. That's why I wanted to tackle this subject today. I know I got a bit mad towards the end of the video, but that's the thing. I feel like everyone is so focused on healing, but we forget that there are people who can't do it because they are not in the context, and you cannot put pressure on somebody to get over their problems if they are still in a context that just amplifies their problems, that just keeps on extending the fire, you know. So yeah, if you have any more things regarding this topic that you want to be discussed on the podcast, or if you have any other suggestions for any other episodes, please don't cough again. Okay, I need to do the outro quickly. If you have any other topics that you want discussed on the podcast, also I might do a part 2 on this one. I might have other things that I want to say, and I know I've made the video so long again. I think it's going to be close to half an hour or something like that. But yeah, if you have any more topics that you want discussed on the podcast, or if you have any other things, suggestions, or different opinions regarding this topic that you want discussed on the podcast, feel free to leave comments and suggestions, even on DMs on Instagram. And I'm very grateful that you watched this video, and I hope that what I'm doing on the podcast is helping people, at least someone out there who might be dealing with some stuff. Maybe it's helping them. That's enough for me. As long as I'm hoping at, oh my god, as long as I'm helping somebody out there, even one person, that's enough for me. And I mean, of course, I want to be able to help multiple people, but as long as it's helping at least someone, I know that I might be doing something right. And thank you so much for listening or watching this whole episode. And sorry for being out for so long. I do have some exciting news to share, but you'll see those updates on Instagram and probably TikTok. And I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And I really appreciate everything that you do to support this. And love you guys. See you in the next episode. And as always, be happy. And enjoy life. And go easy on yourself. And let yourself live. This was the Teenagers Talk podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Bye!